Hello, you are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host, Adrian, and today I will be talking about Civilization 7, Baki, Son of Ogre, and more. Afterwards, be sure to subscribe to be notified when future episodes are released and show your support by liking and leaving a comment. Thank you for joining. And here we are, another lovely Monday for the podcast. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so I don't think there's going to be like a Valentine's specific kind of episode. We're still doing It Takes Two, right? We never really finished that, me and Hannah. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with that game. We haven't really found the time, right? We've been sick, and when we're sick, we don't really like to do strenuous stuff. Like she's not a gamer when she's sick. She's not really like that. So we didn't really play any games this week and not really sure what we're going to do. But It Takes Two has been a really fun game. I recommend that to anyone who has a significant other or a partner, uh, boyfriend, girlfriend, anything like that. Friends, it's a co-op game, man. I think it's a great game. Anybody could play it and enjoy it. It's on almost every platform. It's on the Switch, I believe, which is awesome. So that's even great. Even the Steam Deck, right? Could probably play it. So that's really great. So yeah, I do apologize if my voice is, off. We've just been sick, and it's been a time coming off of that. But I feel relatively good. Just a little bit of a cough here and there. And we killed some time playing games. A lot of games came out this week. There's some news, which is pretty crazy. Anyone who watched the Super Bowl or the halftime show, I did. I catched the halftime show a little bit after when it got like online, just because I wanted to see Kendrick's performance. That was really just it. That's the only thing I wanted to see. And I think it was crazy that we have such a big event for really like the biggest outing of sexual deviancy that you could even fucking have here on planet Earth. That's, really, it's just crazy. So that's a really fun time. I think Kendrick put on a really great performance. It was really cool seeing all those dancers out there performing. That was really fun. And I can only hope that a video game out someone or a company or something like that in the future, just because, if music can be used as like an art for that, I think video games could. I think video games could be used as like a vitriolic way just to spread awareness to just the horrific things that humans do, which is pretty strenuous and awful that, humanity is full of like all these kind of things. And, sadly video games allow you to kind of live that out in some weird way. Yeah, some games came out that are about humanity. Civilization, I think, is one of them. I don't want to get too into that game and another game I've been playing too much. There's some gaming news that I really want to talk about, and there's just been a whole lot here. I don't really have a structure for the podcast. It's just really been kind of stay within topics and let's just go. But I've been looking forward to talking about this game for a very long time. It's the first real strategy game I'm talking about here for the podcast. I think maybe we talked about Dune Spice Wars, but I never really liked that game, even though I'm more of a fan of the um, real time kind of strategy games. That's just really my take. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Civilization and it was really, really fun playing it so far. But yeah, I'm just hyped up on Mountain Dew Frostbite and those Post Malone Oreos, really, because I've been eating those. They're really sugary. I really like them. And I just really want to start getting going, and start talking about stuff. But there's some gaming news, right? Like Street Fighter 6 got a new character, Mai, from the another Capcom game series, I believe, or maybe it's the SNK brand, right? Fatal Fury, something like that. I never really even played any of those games, and I know that they're getting a whole bunch of like remastered ports of their collections, which is really awesome. Maybe I'll jump back in and play Street Fighter 6 now that Mai's there, just because I haven't played that game, and they had a crossover with something that we'll be talking about soon, Baki. Oh my God! So yeah, Street Fighter 6 is really cool. I really haven't gotten a chance to give that game a lot of time yet, and something that came out today was that the Dead by Daylight devs announced their Resident Evil crossover. I believe they might have had one before, but now it's, I guess, part of their official 2v8 mode, which is pretty cool. I'd really been sleeping on Dead by Daylight just because it's too much of a multiplayer game for me to really even get into it. And there's a lot of content out there. I feel a little overwhelmed by the amount of killers there. I love playing as the killer. I think all that's really fun. But I think like the metas there, players know how to play the game. Like by the time I was really into it when Ghostface here, people were just bodying me as Ghostface. I was a bad Ghostface really. But yeah, Dead by Daylight's always been fun. And there's a trailer out there. I haven't really watched it, but Resident Evil is really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing more kinds of stuff like that. I'm a big fan of crossover stuff. That's really just fun. And yeah, there's some stuff talking about the US aid being tied into like Gamergate stuff and how that kind of agenda is affecting games. And all I gotta say about things like that is you really shouldn't mess with the creative process of these video games. I think that nowadays companies, people know what kind of media, what kind of jokes in media, what kind of portrayals of individuals or cultures in media flies. I think that that's on a baseline just everywhere. And I think that it really shines when it's done right. And I think you should not fuck with the creative process with these games. I think you shouldn't be dumping money into altering or changing from an external point of view if you're not somebody who's the core team working on something, if you're not the initial creator, like if you're not on that pipeline, if you're not on that company. It sucks to say that like these video games are made by companies and like you don't even know their names. Like I don't know a lot of the names of the people who specifically worked on these games that I love on all of these games and platforms. And you think of them as like the brands, the companies, the Nintendos, the Xboxes, the PSNs, the Sony stuff. You think about them like that. It's terrible. The indie game scene with like the smaller the team, you see it's like the better of the game just out the gate. It doesn't have any fluff, it doesn't have bells and whistles, it doesn't have things that don't matter, microtransactions, overly done graphics, really bad marketing decisions. There's a lot of things that video games, and honestly, it's human decisions. Humans do wrong, and it's terrible. So it's awful seeing my favorite medium become a trash fire with people who really just aren't in it for making a good product. That's what it is. They're not in it for making a good product or a good service for the consumer. It's awful to be a part of that. So, where's Team Cherry? You guys were like three teams, a three-man team before, and I hope that you guys are doing pretty well making Silk Song. If it takes you 10 years, I say it takes you 10 years because I trust that you at least put out a game that's going to be worth my time and money, and I will give you every second of that. That's what I'm waiting on. That's really the only game that's truly, truly holding me together that I look forward to every announcement. Like I'm even looking forward to it, like Nintendo, because that game is going to be on the Switch too. It's going to be on the Switch. It's going to be playable on the Steam Deck. I think it's going to be great. Yeah, Team Cherry's Silk Song is probably the only game I'm really looking forward to coming out of the future. Really coming out of the future. I would say maybe Gears of War E-Day, but I can't say that a good Gears of War game is going to be out, especially if it's going to be a prequel with all this nitty gritty kind of storytelling. I don't think we're going to get it. I don't think it's going to be the same vibe. I think they're going to ruin it. But, here it is. So, there's some pretty cool stuff about Civilization 7 that, as a fan of the series since Revolution, I've played 5, played 6, and all I got to say is I don't like when games don't have the same modes or characters that weren't in previous iterations. I say that with like fighting games. If the character was in the game previously, it should be in the new iteration. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's like a bottom line thing that I just want for games. I think Smash Bros. Like Ultimate, having all the characters, relatively most of the stages that have been within the franchise, I think having that kind of bottom line is the betterment for your game. It's going to make people accepting of the sequels later on much easier. So I really wanted to come into this Civilization talk as somebody who's just a pure casual, somebody who's just a pure casual and only has a few hundred hours in a Civ game. In all the Civ games, I don't have tens of thousands of hours. Maybe Civ Revolution when it was on the Xbox and I played it with like actual friends who had the game and all that kind of stuff. Like maybe back then, but not now. I'm just a casual person. I play this game when I'm working. I have it on my TV and I have my work laptop, and that is how I played Civilization for the majority of it being out on the early access, right? It came out on like Thursday or Friday, and I played it during work today, and it's been awesome. So I think that on the casual experience, you know what? If you paid money for this game right now when it comes out today, $60, it's probably a good purchase. I think you're going to find a lot of fun with it. I think that it's going to really give you a nice run for your money. the game is long, right? One more turn is really there because they're actually lots faster. I would say the turns are a lot faster, especially in the later on portions of the game. But man, as somebody who has always had that need for one more turn and has always liked the aesthetic of Civ, who's always liked the vibes of Civ and everything that Civ like provides, this game it doesn't have what Civ 6 has. It doesn't. It doesn't have like the roster. There's no Gandhi, no Abraham Lincoln. There's no real like figures from there. And I understand like I'm an American. I don't have real patriotism for any of these figures, but I've seen them in the early iterations of the game. They should be here. I don't want to pay for those characters again. You tell me I'm going to pay for Gandhi. You tell me I'm going to pay money for Gandhi and Abraham Lincoln. You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if I'm going to pay extra money for that. I paid $100 for that game. $100 for this game. That's crazy. And I got Civ 6 when it was out 2016 day one. I got all the DLC for it. Been playing that game 500 hours on two consoles, Switch, PC. Two consoles, bro. The game modes, I like that they implemented things from Civ 6 into Civ 7. There is like plagues are kind of a thing. They're there. Then there's the weather system. I really like that. The floods happen, I think, a little too fucking often, in my opinion. Um, Hurricanes and storms are there. There's volcanoes. The natural disasters is really awesome, but it definitely doesn't feel like all of the same arcadey fun stuff from Civ 6 came into this mode. There's no the zombie stuff. Yeah, there's really none of that. I don't know. I haven't really played a lot of Civ 6 a lot. I really wanted to give it a little more time before I played Civ 7, but there was another game that I was playing that really took in my time. But I know that a lot of the stuff that's in Civ 6 is not in Civ 7, and that's my absolute biggest gripe about it is that like there's just things missing. And I don't want that to ever be the case for any video game ever. That's like the absolute worst thing that I could say. I can't say if this game is hard or difficult, right? I played it on two difficulties, the first two, and I had a pretty fun time. I don't play this game in order to beat the AI, play optimally. I'm not here for that. I'm here to see my civilization grow, and if any AI or people that I do play with are in my way, they're getting crushed. That's the way it's going to go. I usually go for the scientific and cultural victories, which I will say is pretty fun. I can't tell you if they are easier or better within each version. I think they all pretty much work the same. But I think on the base experience, on like a casual level, this game is not worth the 60, let alone what I paid like $100 of just content that's in it. Like I don't like it. And I also don't like some of the changes that they made initially. I don't like the eras in it. And whenever you change into an era, you have to change your civilization and then your units change. They go back to your capitals and your cities. I don't know what happened with that. That might be like a mode in the game that could be changed later on, but man, that is not fun right now. That is just really annoying, in my opinion. I miss tourism. I really like that mechanic culturally. I like that more than I like religion. I think religion is really annoying to play as, even utilize within this game. I think it sucks. So, there's a lot of things that I really don't think matter in terms of like my opinion here. So I don't want to like harp on them. But there's parts of civilization that I love and they're not within this game, and I don't know like where it's going to go from here. This game does have some really nice quality of life stuff. It does kind of maneuver better, at least on the controller and what it felt like playing on Civ Revolution. I played Civ 6 on the Switch. That's the closest to controller I've done, and even that was pretty fun. I wish the menus weren't just like black. I wish they had the same blue kind of tone they had in Revolution and Civ 6. I really like that. That kind of aesthetic isn't there. And overall, it's just another Civ game. There's a lot of things that are very similar and familiar for old and returning fans like me. And I think that if you're a newer player, you're going to find a lot of easy to learn and understandable mechanics here. But if I'm going to say something, if you're going to pay $60 for Civ 7, no, no, just get Civ 6. Get Civ 6. That's a better run for your money right now. Maybe whatever content updates come out for Civ 7 right now might be the way to go. But right now, I don't think so. I would actually much rather play Civ 6 right now than I would want to play Civ 7. And I got Civ 7 on the PS5, and I've been playing on the PS5 controller, and that works out pretty well. What I will say, they did put out a trailer for the VR for Civ 7. That's awesome. That is really cool. A VR strategy game. That's pretty sick. I'm not even a VR person. I don't have a VR, and I've never been more intrigued to play VR than for the Civ 7 version. I've never been more intrigued to play that. So I would actually consider buying like the console specifically just to try out the VR version of that. I could get lost in that forever. That would be so cool. Yeah, so I don't want to say that this game is bad. I just don't think it's worth a $60 price tag in the year 2025 for the content it has, right? Firaxis has been making these Civ games for a very long time, and I think there's a lot of, like things that are easy about that shouldn't have been warranting a $60 price tag. Like clearly not. That it just seems very weird that that's the case. This game could have been 40 to $50. $40 to $50, and I imagine they may have maybe gotten even more sales. But like $60 is a lot, and I paid 100 just to even have the early access to talk about it here on the podcast. And I'm not gonna say that I felt like that was all not worth it, but looking at the package, I would have rather have something similar to whatever comes with Civ 6. Like that entire roster, all of that, man. Like it's just like this seems like a bad fighting game to me. And that's very different to a lot of people what that would be considered. And yeah, that's basically just about it. Civ 7, not a big disappointment, but it's just um makes me just want to play Civ 6 and Civ Revolution rather than Civ 7. That's just like a basic layman's casual take on that. Somebody who really appreciates what Civilization offers. It offers a really great amount of history for the culture here of the Earth, here of the human species, what we've done, and what it takes for us to get there. I think that kind of experience is the best thing about video games is that you get to experience those kind of lives and being a world leader and some kind of pseudo god on the planet Earth is the best thing ever, the absolute best thing ever. So yeah, it's so fun. It's just there's other better Civ games even out there for a much cheaper price with what you get. That's just what I gotta say, man. And the other game I've been mentioning recently was Kingdom Come Deliverance. Man, oh man, I might have tried to play this game over the last 2 or 3 years, uh, like a bunch of times, just because I've always seen weird clips about it of being like funny and irreverent, and then having like cutscenes, and it did not seem that kind of game at all whenever I played it. It felt like a really bad like PC game, initially, right? And not to say that it's a bad game, but that's just how it felt like getting into it because it's very difficult to get into over like early on. The especially the combat is pretty challenging. So the sequel did come out this week. I did not get the sequel because I've already attempted to try and play the first game. I told myself I would try and get more time into that game. And I'm about 40 hours, 40 plus hours into it, still not very into it. I think the guy in the black armor, I'm at the mission where you can fight him, like you storm the bandit like enemy camps or whatever with the army. And man, that's hard. I can't beat that. So I had to revert to like the save right before then, and I'm just gonna try and level myself up, get armor and stuff. That's basically like, what it is. And I'm having a much better time playing this game than when I first tried it out earlier on. There might be an early episode of the podcast where I tried playing this when it was on Game Pass initially, like 2023 or 2024. But yeah, I'm having a much better time playing it right now. I would like to have more experience with the overall game before I talk about it. I spent I did the Teresa DLC. That DLC was awesome. That DLC is so cool that you play as the woman that you save. How do you want to know if you can access the DLC if you don't save her, right? I'm so glad I chose to save her on this run, and then I got to do it in the DLC. That's so cool, and you get a dog. Awesome, so cool. I would say that Kingdom Come Deliverance is like a 2000s game. Like this game is like Oblivion. It's just like very much similar to Oblivion, but maybe a much different combat system. It's pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to playing more of that game and maybe Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and maybe compare and contrast the two of them in the future. That would be really awesome. And I don't really know if we're gonna have time for that because something that's coming out is the Elden Ring NightReign open beta or network test, right? Which is awesome. So this is mainly like a multiplayer game, what I believe, like a three-player co-op game. So the network test is really just to probably establish their multiplayer connections, see what works worldwide, and with a full team of players across whatever platforms, probably PC. I got it on the PS5. I'm so excited. So the code to download the client should come out tomorrow on February 11th. That's what they said, and I'm waiting. I'll be keeping an eye on the PS5 probably around until midnight tonight, see if it just becomes downloadable on like the email, and then I'll probably just go to bed and download it in the morning, if I get the email in the morning. If hopefully I do, and it's apparently the schedule is online, and it runs from February 14th to the 16th at certain times. Now, the 14th has 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. PT and 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. PT, which is not awful, but I could probably, do both of those times. And then the 15th is 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. PT, and then 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. PT. I could probably certainly do that. Um, and then the 16th is 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Now, my girlfriend's birthday is the 16th, so probably won't be able to do that. I can probably squeeze Valentine's Day. So who really knows? And I'm just really excited to be playing that. I think it's gonna be really, really fun. I wasn't expecting to do this. I think it's gonna be really cool to talk about on the podcast. I'm gonna try and maybe get some footage, uh, maybe live stream it, just because I think I'm one of the very few people who get a chance to try this out. So I want to, get what I can. I'll go over whatever the client stuff says as regarding like capture footage or whatever, because I don't really know. This is the first time I've ever done this. I don't know what's gonna happen if I put out footage of the Elden Ring NightReign beta stuff. So maybe they'll contact me and tell me to not do that. So we'll see. We'll see. My expectations for this, I'm coming into it in a way of just being like, I want to see if I can talk clearly about what works for the network or the entire process. I'm not really here to be like, oh, it's this monster from Demon Souls or it's a Bloodborne thing. I don't care. I don't care about that. I want to actually take this as a chance to like experience what a network test client experience is and get this game running on a way that works not just on the PS5 but on PC, on Xbox, on Switch, Steam Deck, whatever anybody might be playing on. I'd rather this be an attempt to talk about this game in a way that makes multiplayer games, three-player co-op games, progress, and not just another way to talk about how Elden Ring is really good. I don't care. Elden Ring is really good. It won Game of the Year for a year. I don't need a sequel ever again. I don't want it. I don't want it. I'm so surprised that we're even getting a NightReign version. A DLC was a pipe dream, in my opinion. It's crazy. So I'm excited to be part of this From Software. Thank you for allowing me to experience the NightReign network test whenever it comes out within the next 2 weeks or so. It's gonna be so so fun, so fun. So yeah, we haven't done one of these in a while. I think it's time we talk about our sponsor, Dubby. Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like other energy drinks. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby is an energy drink powder that is produced in FDA registered and inspected facilities in the United States. If you use the coupon code down below, you can get 10% off of drink powders, apparel, portable bottles, stickers, and bags. That's if you use the coupon code down below at checkout. And yeah, that's Dubby. They've been our sponsor for about a year now going on, I believe. That's just pretty nice. I just signed up. They gave me the code and they haven't said anything else about what we do here. It's pretty nice. I just wanted to give the weird podcast feel with sponsors and stuff. I don't really care if people don't like them or not. I just think it's kind of fun, especially because if you guys are, here with your time, I might as well give back and you guys can get 10% off some sugary powder. That's certainly good for you. Absolutely. And yeah, um, we talk about a lot more than just video games here on the podcast. So eventually in the future, I want to give reading Dante's Inferno a shot and try to rope it around into being related to the video game in some way, try to play that game from start to finish, maybe. It is on Game Pass. Last time I saw last year, try playing it. It's pretty much just God of War. Not a big fan of those specific type of games, the early God of War games, the combo beat 'em up games. Those have never specifically been my kind of style, but I do want to try Dante's Inferno and give it a true shot. And also, to be honest, like Ninja Gaiden has also been kind of that same thing that also like has been making a resurgence. I really liked the first game, and there's even a Inferno RPG, which I've been trying to contact the publishers just to try and have a way to talk about their RPG and give one out free. 'Cause I don't even want a copy. I literally don't even want a copy. I don't have time to play the game. I don't want specifically a copy. I want to give out a copy. I want to give out a copy of an RPG. That's pretty much all I just want to do regarding the Dante's Inferno stuff. I think it'd be pretty fun. I never read Dante's Inferno. There's even like music that's even inspired by Dante's Inferno, like actual music, obviously. I think that's pretty awesome. So I think it'd be pretty cool specific overall topic to talk about sometime in the future. And yeah, I think we can wrap up by just talking about the last few things. You know, this is usually where we talk about like the books and comics and manga and stuff. So Absolute Superman #4 came out, and what a fun ride. I mean, Lois Lane is a complete badass in this one, and I'm loving the two factions here. We have the Peacemakers and the Omega Men. It's kind of seems like the Omega Men are obviously the good guys in some way. Maybe they're not. Not a whole lot of Superman focused stuff on this comic. There's definitely I really like the parts where it was people's accounts of Superman because that's the thing, right? People love Superman for what he is, and there's villains who just want to do the same thing but without him. That's pretty much all it boils down to, or capture him. And I'm excited to see what this Brainiac stuff is. Um, hey man, these Peacemaker dudes, they're actually fundamentally part of the story because they're fucking up. They one of them really fucked up bad. So it's gonna be awesome. The next chapter is called The Rage of Superman, right? I think that's what the next one's called. It's gonna be so cool. Oh man, I I'm loving it. The Absolute series is so fun. The Cosmonaut variety show guy, he can vouch for the Absolute comics. He says they're great, and I gotta stand with them. He even says that the new what is it? The one that Marvel's doing, whatever they are, Maximum or whatever they're doing, I'm so on board with that as well. I'll probably read that at some point when they're all done because I'm just really vibing with reading issue by issue DC. I liking that. It's actually exciting having more DC comics to look forward to weekly, and it's definitely a nice change of pace compared to the manga, right? So here with the manga, let's just start off with the big one, the one that I'm really stumped on continuing or changing up into a different one, and that's Baki. Yo, when I say this with my full chest. Baki is the best shonen anime. Like it's just the best. I haven't even seen the anime, and I'm just gonna say it right because I read the manga. That story's so cool. It's so sick. I should have read this when I was younger. I should have read it when I was younger. I should have seen the anime when I was younger. Like when I was like 4. I should have seen it when I was 4. It would be my favorite anime of all time. Like it just would be. Like Dragon Ball's still there, obviously, but man, is Baki so much better than Dragon Ball. Baki's just better than Dragon Ball. Like it just literally is. That's all I gotta say. Um, it's crazy that that was such a fun ride to get from the beginning of Baki, something where I thought it was just a dude doing MMA and had MMA stories and like a few tournaments, and that was basically it. Nah, bro, Obama's in it. That's the whole reason I read it. My boy Obama is in it. Yeah, that's all I have to say. It has Obama. He doesn't fight or anything, but he's just in it, which is awesome. Which is awesome. You know, I think that these stories where they include humanity and like real life in them, I think those kind of fictional stories are the best. Those are truly the best. Having the main character fight the son of Muhammad Ali is awesome. Is so cool. Um, I'm gonna be watching the anime immediately, like immediately, and I'll probably just play Civ in the background and just watch Baki. That's probably all I'm gonna do if I'm not playing Kingdom Come Deliverance. Because man, I'm not even gonna talk about Son of Ogre, the third part, because it was just so great. The entire prison arc and then the caveman. Oh my God. I can't. I want to read it all again. I want to read it all again and just experience the whole thing again. I had such a fun ride to experience that kind of story. It was so awesome. The entire cast of characters is really cool. Even though some of the stuff got into like some real fictional realm of like fighting, there's some true history there and like some actual humanity within that story, which is my favorite. Is the stories about humanity is when the characters are real humans and they do real human things, right? I put this up there with like Vinland Saga and Berserk and Attack on Titan. Baki is like one of the greatest shonen anime manga of all time. It's so sick. I'm going to be talking about the anime next episode. I will be. It's going to be so cool. That's all I got to say on Baki. Really, it's just such a great ride. Like I don't even know if I'm going to be continuing it. It What I got out of it is satisfying, and maybe I'll continue with the rest of it. I'm unsure. I'm probably going to read Mashal. Maybe I'll just give Mashal a shot and see what happens, because I'm really trying to vibe out and read some new anime, read some new manga, see what else is out there, right? So a new one that was announced is The Martial King. This only has one chapter, and I gotta say, that art is what has me. The art has captured me. I don't even give a fuck about the story. I don't even know what it's about. I opened that up and I was like, this is probably just about cowboys. Probably just about cowboys. It has some science fiction stuff to it, obviously, which yo, you got me. That is all I need. Science fiction manga, yes. Yes. It wasn't even that. It was the art that got me. There's some sick art. The colors is so basic, just some really good use of gold. Really good use of gold. And my favorite part, the clouds. The clouds, the landscape, the skybox, whatever you call it, bro, that is the only thing that is going to have me read this manga. I don't care about the story. I don't care about the characters. I'm here for the art because that is so sick. So the Martial King will be more featured here. I haven't read chapter one in full. When I skimmed it, I was like, no, this deserves a special time. This deserves a special time. So the Martial King is going to be one of the best things to come and grace us because that art is so sick. And you know what? We got Chainsaw Man 192, and I gotta say, I like the raunchier animes. This one is so tame. Chainsaw Man is so tame. It's not overt with it. It's not egregious with it. It's tasteful. It's tasteful and it has charm. And quite frankly, it's literally only the main character. It doesn't go out of the realm with like other characters being weird or gross. It's just the main character. I don't mind it. Chainsaw Man's really fun. And I'm looking forward to seeing what other fights come out of the rest of it. I'm hoping it doesn't end soon. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell where it's going right now. It kind of feels like maybe they're in the last stretches, but it's definitely different. I'm excited. I like Chainsaw Man. Who can say, right? And we got One Piece 1139 new characters. Always with the new characters. I predict maybe 200 more characters before the end of One Piece. 200 at least. 200 at least full names and character designs before One Piece is over. Right? So we got Mr. Ya. He's so sick. Very similar to a lot of characters that we've seen. I think now a lot of stuff is really going to start tying up here in Elbaf. We're not really going to be seeing a lot else of the world probably. Maybe two more islands maybe. Who really knows? So who could really say? I don't think we'll have like big arcs or anything, but I think like locations, just like two more islands, two more main islands that are going to be like important to the story. Like one, like I think there's going to be one where there might have something to do with the revolution, because I've always been waiting for that meeting between Luffy and Dragon. I know that has to happen at some point, and then I think there's going to be like another island that's just the One Piece, wherever the One Piece is, wherever the final battle is, that island, whatever that happens. Who could say? I'm just talking on my ass. It could be something different. We could get a full map of the One Piece world at some point, a legitimate map of it at some point within the pages of One Piece, which would be awesome, which would be sick. Um, One Piece has been a long-standing topic here on the podcast, and that's one of my greatest blessings is to talk about that on the podcast because I know that there's so many other fans who have never even gotten the chance to get this far in One Piece. So like it just really is an honor to read this one week by week. It's so great. And another fan favorite of mine that's been really recent, Wild Strawberry, Chapter 38 came out. Oh man, it's just secrets upon secrets upon secrets. This world has really gotten to me because I really just want to see all the areas that's overgrown plant life and the plants fight. That's it. That's what keeping me here. I want to see the plants fight. But man, there's some secrets happening here. I don't even know what's happening. But I'm all for it. It's so cool. And then we had Dragon Ball Daima episode 17. We got to see another glimpse of Super Saiyan 3 Goku. It's so glorious every time. Every time. We also got to see Demon Lord Goma in full force with his evil eye or whatever. And he's pretty strong, you know? I never really thought that we would have dangerous stuff within Dragon Ball Daima, and I don't think this guy is super dangerous, but it's definitely cool seeing the whole gang fight together. Obviously, Majin, Ku, and Du were gonna fight with them at some point. That was so obvious. Yeah, I'm really liking Dragon Ball Daima. Where is the super manga? Where is it, Toyotaro? Where is it? What's happening? What is Black Frieza up to right now? How many planets has he destroyed while you have been here not giving us what we want? What's happening? What's happening? And you know what? You guys should go and watch the movie Didi. It's basically just Boyhood, but about I believe it's Vietnamese boy within America, right? It's just an American backdrop. One of my favorite settings. I think the adolescent young boy experience is crucial to any young man's livelihood. They need to have it. They need to be outside from dusk till dawn, eating pizza with their friends, and getting in trouble. It just needs to happen. That just needs to be part of life. They can't be sheltered. They can't be homeschooled. None of that. No, nah. You need to not live in the middle of the woods. You need to have your kids in like neighborhoods where they can run around and get in the mischief, but not too much. That's literally just it. I think that's very important. I played Manhunt as a kid, right? I ding dong ditch. I egged houses. I egged cars. Yeah, yeah. I think it's very important. And Didi is just like that. I think it's very important to have an experience like that. Very good movie. Very good movie. And yeah, next week maybe we'll be talking about more of the Kingdom Come Deliverance games and certainly more of that glorious Baki. And honestly, that's gonna be about it. I hope you guys have a good weekend, good week, and or a good Valentine's Day, right? Of course, happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Love you all, and peace.